Okay, good morning, and Tav Tes Bava Manalov. And we started the sugya because of our mission is Mazik Tashlumin, but we got into a bonus that we touched on the subject of Palganiska Mamona, Palganiska Knasa, and the Gemara explained the fact that you pay Chatzi Nezik is because you're really supposed to pay nothing and it's a Knas, or you're really supposed to pay the whole thing and it's a leniency that the Torah gave you a discount the first 3 times. So the Gemara brought Machlokes Papa from the Beit of Yeshua, and the Gemara went to explain our mission about Nizik Mazik Tashlumin. But even though we finished that, we finished our subject, but we're going on now to open up that sugya about Palganiska Knasa, Palganiska Mamona. So it's a bit of a tangent. Here goes the Gemara. How many lines from the bottom is that?
Okay.
Third wide line. We want to know if Chazi Nezik is a Knas or Chazi Nezik is Mamon. Toshma. So we brought one right to the mission that it's Mamon, and it wasn't the right. We could learn that even if it's Knas, the point about Nizik Mazik Tashlumin is he loses the deterioration of the Nevela, on top of the Nevela. Toshma. So we're going on a side subject to figure out if Palganiska Knas or Palganiska Mamona. Toshma. Ma bin Tam Lemud. What are the differences between the Tam and the Mud? Tam means the first 3 offenses, and the Mud means once it's already been warned, and it's already the 4th offense. Shatam Misham Chatzi Nezik Migufo, Mud Misham Nezik Shalom and Aliyah. It says in the Mishnah that the two differences between the Tam and the Mud. The Tam only pays Chatzi Nezik, and the Mud pays Nezik Shalom, half or whole. Another point is Migufo. Migufo means only from the body of the mazik, only the shore. And if he damaged more than that, he doesn't have to pay. There's a limit how much he has to pay. Limited liability, only to the value of the shore. And by Nezik and by Imur, he has to pay whatever it costs. But Aliyah they say means the best. He has to from his out of his pocket, from his, what does it mean? From his attic. Aliyah. What does the word Aliyah mean? The idea is from his pocket, from his bank account. What does the word Aliyah mean? Just translation.
Oh, it goes up, something high.
High. They say from the best. Okay. But the idea is that it pays from his own pocket. So what's the word one? This
best meaning not only from the group.
Right. That's the idea. But what's the word that? So what does the more want to see about our subject, about Palganiska Knas or Palganiska Mamona? The Misa, if it's true that it's a Knas, listening now, I should have said the following thing. Tam Beinu B'Shalom Al Piatzmo, Mud B'Shalom Al Piatzmo. That a Tam doesn't pay if he admits, because only a Knas, and the Mud pays if he admits, because it's not a Knas. Means that there should be a third difference. Is it a Knas or Mama? One difference is half payment, full payment. One difference is maximum igufo, or there's no maximum liability, has to pay whatever it costs from his pocket. Well, and there's a third difference, that it should be Knas and Mamon. If you hold that Chatzi Nezik is only a Knas, it should have said so in the list.
Mishalom Alpi, Mishalom Alpi Atzmo is like whenever somebody steals and they say I stole.
No, stealing you have to pay if you said he stole, because I said about kefil. You don't have to pay kefil. Anything which is a knas, you don't have to pay. Moda b'knas is potter. So it should say that.
What they mean here?
Yeah, that should say moda b'knas is potter, because Tom doesn't pay if he admits, because it's a knas. Moda b'knas is potter, but a muad is not a knas. Everyone knows muad is not a knas. Everyone knows muad is not a knas. Muad is a regular payment. But if Tom is a knas, I should have said so. There's another difference between Tom and muad. Besides the half payment, and besides the fact that it's limited to migufo, there's also another point that it's only a knas, and therefore if he admits, he's potter. Why doesn't it say that? The fact that it doesn't say it, it shows that it's not true. The Gemara says no proof. Ton of Bashir. It could be that it left out. It's not an exhaustive list. You're right. It is a difference, but it doesn't say it. Why doesn't it say it? Because it left out some. But we know the famous kasha that you don't just leave out one thing. It must be if you left out a couple of things, but you're not going to just leave out one thing. My shir, the high shir. What else did I leave out? Shir chatzi kofer. It left out the payment of kofer. Kofer means when an animal kills a muad, it says in the Torah that he has to pay the value of the dead person, how much would have been sold for a nevid. And does a Tom pay that? Now, of course, he's not going to pay the whole kofer, but chatzi kofer. Does he pay half of that? The same way, if he damages, he has to pay half the damages. If the Tom killed, maybe he has to pay at least, well, not at least, half of the kofer, not the whole kofer. That's the side point. But does he pay kofer? So he doesn't pay kofer at all. He doesn't even pay half kofer. So that's also a difference that it could have said. It could have said Chatzi Nezik. It could have said that only pays Chatzi, not full, and that it pays Gufo and not Aliyah, and that doesn't pay Kofer at all, and the more it does pay Kofer, since it leaves that out. So it's also allowed to leave out the point of Knas. But the Gemara says it's not necessarily that it left out Chatzi Kofer. One may say that that's not considered really leaving out anything. There's mandama. There's machlokes. Machlokes if Tam pays kofar or not. Of course, if he pays kofar, only pays chatzi kofar. There's no question he doesn't pay the whole kofar. Even by nezik, he only pays half nezik. But the way, whenever the Gemara says chatzi kofar, is another way of saying does he pay kofar? Of course, it means only half. So
where's the love in?
It's not leaving over anything. You're saying that it left out chatzi kofar. It didn't leave it out because you could say that our mission is a basic that holds that a tam does pay chatzi kofar. So there's no difference between a tam and a muad. A muad and a tam, both of them pay kofar. Of course, a tam pays half, but they don't have a difference between half and whole, only half and whole. That is said already.
So that's still a kasha that
Right.
didn't say love. What was it?
Knas. It didn't say that doesn't pay up. Yes, but that's why the Gemara would read. But that can't be. But you just said, Rabbi Yaakov said the Gemara was anymore for the kasha that you don't leave anything else out. So you just left out one thing. Can't leave out one thing. But that wouldn't make sense because you can't force him to say that. I could say that it's Rabbanan. Why are you asking Kash on me? So it wouldn't make sense to ask a Kash on me. I could say that's Rabbanan. More simple, say it's Rabbanan. That you don't pay kofar.
And then you have two things.
Right, that's very nice. Yeah. So Taisa says the Gemara means to say the Gemara now the table turned. That it's true. Since till now the Maksha was attacking me. I say Palganiska Knasa, and I was on the defense. But now that I said that it's left out and left out something else also, now the table turns. Now the one who says Palganiska Mamon is on the defense because it didn't leave out anything about Knas because you say it's not a Knas, so only left out one thing, only about Kofar. So now the Kasha, on the contrary, the Kasha turns on to the one who says Mama. How come it left out? Chatzi Kofar? It must be left out something else. What else did it leave out? It must have left out Knas and Mama. So it's a right to me. That is a Knas. On that, the Gemara says, I could say that it goes according to Rabbi Galili, he's on the defense. The one who says Mama is on the defense. I could say that's Rabbi Galili, and therefore left out nothing. I didn't leave out anything. I didn't leave out Knas
so
because
it's stalemate.
Yeah, right. No right either way.
And you're a kasha, and they say it's not. It's a rabbanan, and you're a kasha.
Not a kasha. Not a kasha. Not a kasha. Either one says I have a pshat. Each both says I'm okay. Each one says I'm okay. You can't ask a kasha on me. You can't ask a kasha on me either. Okay.
I see.
That's called a stalemate. This is Tais on the bottom over here. Tais this E. Where's that?
The second line.
Right. Here's the Likshi Lamadama Paganis Kamamona. It's coming to answer a question. He's on the defense now. The one who was on defense now, okay, forget about the line.
Yeah.
But he says no problem. Okay, it's good. Tashma. So we're still looking for a right on Paganis Kamamona. We had two rights to say moment, and both of them we answered successfully. Tashma. It says in a Mishnah, I guess. Hamish, I don't know. So Hamish is ploni or Shosh ploni or Mishal al Piatzmo. If somebody admits that my ox killed somebody, ploni, or he killed somebody's ox, so he has to pay whatever it's going to be. Kofar, that's what it sounds like, or paying the damages of killing somebody else's ox. He has to pay. What kind of ox?
Like proof that it's a kananas.
It wasn't proof that it's mama. He pays on his own word. He pays Moda B'Kana. He's Moda, he pays. He pays on his own word. That means Moda. Moda is high. So what kind of box is talking about? My Labatam. Is it not talking about a tam over here? What kind of box? The first offense. And it says that you pay. That's what we're talking about. If you say does a tam pay? I'm getting a little confused about this ploni over here. That's about kofar again. Back into kofar.
Yeah, but it's normal. Kofar.
So yeah, you have to say very secondly. Okay, you have to say that this. If you say so about a tam, they want to always talk about a tam. So then it's talking about the very secondly. It says that you do pay half kofar. So what does it say? And kofar is going to be not a knas. Okay, we're getting into other things now. But we're interested is let's say the next point. Showish ploni. My ox killed your ox, so he has to pay. That's already.
But it doesn't say kofar.
So Rash, if it says. I'm trying to avoid kofar because the first case is that my ox killed ploni. Ploni means a man. Doesn't mean an ox.
You don't want to focus.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to focus on it. We put in parentheses.
So if it's in the shore,
so that means that I pay on my own word. And you don't say modu knas is prater. So it's right as mamon. My lavatam is not talking about even the time. The first offense means the whole question is chatzinezek. Once it's a muad, then for sure it's moment. But if you say it's talking about a tam, so it says even a tam pays on his own word. That means that it's moment, that it's not knas. A right to who's who? Papa's going to say that it's moment. My labatam, and you see that it's moment, and he pays on his own admittance. The answer is no. Who told you to what a tam? Somewhat a muad and a chanami. If he would have been moda on here's somewhat a muad, but the Gemara doesn't like that. Avatamai. You want to say that Tam Dalach you don't pay on your own admittance because it's a knas. So why doesn't it say so? Now in the Reisha, this thing we quoted just talks about that he does pay al piatzmo. But the Gemara says continue over there in Mishnah. Adatani Seifa, Hey Mishori Yes Avdo Shal Ploni, and Mishal Mal Piatzmo. It says in the Mishnah over there, a case where he does not pay on his own admittance, if he's molded that my ox killed a certain Eved, an Eved. To pay Eved by an Eved is Shloshim Shal Eved, that it goes to the set price, it doesn't make it to how much he's worth. And that's a knas. That's surely a knas because it's a set price. You don't go according to the value. So, in order to find the case of a knas, the mode of a knas is part, they would have to go to killing an eved. Why doesn't it keep talking about the same thing? Why doesn't it divide internally? It could have kept to the same case that is talking about an ox, and I can find you a knas by an ox also. You have to go to an eved to find a knas. If you hold a palganiska knas, every short time is always a knas. It should have said, it could have spoken still about an ox that killed an ox, and it should say that you don't pay on your own admittance if it's a tam, if you hold that it's a knas. The answer is kula b'muad kamaru. That's not a kasha. The subject we're talking about is a muad. We're not talking about a tam. We want to talk about a muad. Is it possible to be a case of moment and a case of knas? So we said the only case about muad, but it's going to be a knas, is going to be we killed an eved. But if you killed something else, then it's considered a muad. So again, the Gemara got out of it. The one who says Paul Ganisa was able to explain that here it doesn't say that it's a mamon because it's talking about a muad. If it will be a tam, then in a time you'll be a kanas and you wouldn't pay al piatzmo. So that was the third raya, and again the Gemara successfully dodged the kasha. Tashma zaklal kala mishal yosa al masha hizik and mishal mal piatzmo. A Mishnah it says, I think it's a Mishnah. If you correct me if it's not, I think it's a Mishnah. Zaklal. Whoever pays more than your damage doesn't pay on his own admittance. Means if you pay more than your damage, it's not a knas. That's the klal. What's called a knas? There's moment and knas. What's called a knas? If you pay more than your damage. But at point you say palganiska knasa, there's a case of paying less than your damage, and also
you got to pay more than your damage.
There are cases that you pay more than your damage, like ones, mafata, all kinds of knasas that the Torah says. Kefel, Dalad Behei, all these are paying more than your damage. That's a knas. The fact that you pay more than your damage shows that it's not moment. If you just pay money, you pay how much it's worth. The fact you pay more is shows that it's a knas. And that's the klal, what's called the knas if you pay more than your damage. But the Gemara is asking, how about less than your damage? It's mashma that is moment. It says the only case of knas is when you pay more than your damage. My love mishalim. Isn't that mashma that if you pay less than your damage, you do have to pay al piyatzma because it's considered moment. But you, from the radio of Yeshua, you hold that palganiska knasa. So I could have said that if you pay less than your damage, it's also knas. My love mishalim. So it's a raya that is moment. All the rayas went in the same direction. All the four rayas, all were going to try to prove that it's moment. And so far, the Gemara dodged all of them. The Gemara tries to get out of this one also. No, just make the deal that if you pay as much as your damage, that's called moment. But if you pay more or less, don't make the deal that after if you pay more, it's considered knas. If you pay less also, just make the deal that if you pay as much as you damage, then it's surely moment. But the Gemara says it doesn't say that. You want to say that if you pay less than you damage, then it's considered a knas and you don't pay al piyatzmo. So why doesn't it say so? This is the klal is not true. It says if you know what when you know what's considered knas when you pay more than your damage, and you're saying that it's not dafka more, it could be less also. If that would be true, the klal would have been if you don't pay as much, if you don't pay equally, if you don't pay as much as you were, that would have been clear that if you pay as equal to what you damaged, then it's a moment. If you pay differently than its real value, more or less, it's considered a knas. It doesn't say that. So the fact that it only says it's a knas if you pay more, that's mashma, that if you pay less, it would be a moment. It would be moment. or
If it
less
says
or equal.
more, then it's not equal, doesn't it?
It says more, no, not necessarily. Yeah, but it could have said it better. It could have said not equal. When you say more, it's mashma that if you pay less, that's why the Gemara started. That it only says more is a knas, but less is not a knas. If you want to say that more or less is a knas, then it should have said it's only one when it's equal. It doesn't say that. It should have been more medayik. It should have said if you don't pay equally 20 damage, then mashma pachsa mashma yoseh. That would have been mashma that either less or more is a knas. And it doesn't say that. Mashma that you're wrong, that it's only a knas when it's more. If it's less, it's not a knas. It's a raya to Rav Papa that says that it's mama.
There's mama.
The Papa says mama.
Tifta
So that's a knockout. The fourth one was a knockout. And therefore, the Gemara,
it's not a
it's not a knas. But the Gemara says, "V'ilchasa pagan it's knasa." And then the chikasha is like Jacob said it without words. Tifta v'ilchasa. You just knocked it off, and then you say that's the halacha. Can't do that. The answer is yes, in, because it wasn't such a big kasha. Even though the Gemara said tifta, now the Gemara says not such a big kasha. In, yes. Time of the Mai have your tifta. What was the kasha? Mishum de lo katani kamash hizik. Because he said, how come if you wanted the clause should have been more accurate? It should have said, if you don't pay as much as your mazik, so then it's a knas. And that would have implied more or less. You know why it doesn't say that? Lo psikole. It's not absolute rule. It means it wouldn't be correct to say that if you don't pay equal to what you damaged, it's a knas. It would have been mashma more is a knas. It would have been mashma less is a knas, and it's not always true. Really, I'm right. Rafuna Ben Yeshua says, really, I'm right. That it's a knas. If you pay palganiski, you pay chatzinezik, it's only a knas. You know why he couldn't say that? He couldn't say that if you pay more or less, it's a knas, because sometimes you pay less than you damage, and it's not a knas. This was yesterday what was on the daf. This is Torah someplace on the daf. This is it. That is another place where you pay chatzinezik, and over there, everybody holds that it's mama. So it's an exception. It's Stroros. Well, Stroros means that an animal was walking normally. He wasn't doing any chabaras al hazik, and as he walks normally, so pebbles shoot out of his shot out of his feet, and it's called. That's what the Gemara calls kocho. That's called kocho. It's not called gufa. He didn't hit something with his foot. He didn't step on it. He stepped on the pebble, and the pebble shot out.
If he sure kills,
yes, I'm sorry.
if he sure kills Ever Kanani, isn't that's also a class, even though the Ever might be worth more, right?
A shor kills Ever Kanani. Dr. Fine is asking when a shor kills Ever Kanani and he has to pay kofar and shloshim shalevet, so it's doesn't make a difference how much Ever was worth. It could be more or less. So the klal that it says whenever you pay more is a knas, and the Gemara, why doesn't the Gemara bring in that the issue of paying for an eved could be also less? Is that a kasha? The fact that shloshim shalevet can sometimes be less, and that surely is a knas. So why does the Gemara say that's only knas when you pay more? There's also knas when you pay less.
I think that could be.
If it could be more, even though it could be less also, but since the fact that it could be more, that would be included in the cloud. But if there's something that always pays less, that's the sugya of the Gemara about chatzinezek or about sroros. So what is the Gemara saying? That the reason I could say the one who says knas, because I could say really that chatzinezek is a knas. The reason why it doesn't say a cloud, if you pay more or less, then it's a knas, because chatzinezek is surely not a knas. Chatzinezek of sroros is surely not a knas. There's such a halacha emotion we see that it pays chatzinezek. Dimamono over there it is mama. It's not a knas. That's why it doesn't say that anything that's not exactly the same is a knas, because there is something that's not exactly the same, and it's not a knas. So this klal could say whenever you pay more, it's surely a knas. When it's less, sometimes it could be a knas, sometimes it could be a moment. You can't bring it right from there. So the Gemara got out of all four kashas, and the Gemara paskin palganiska knasa, even though it didn't have any riot to him, he didn't have any riot. All the four riots were trying to say palganiska mamona. He got out of all the four kashas, but he didn't prove himself. But still, the Gemara paskin is like a put of Yeshua palganiska knasa. The chatzinezek, as the Gemara explained before, that usually it would be unusual enough that the owner wouldn't have to watch it. But the Torah said he wants him to watch it, even though it's unexpected. And therefore the Torah made a kanas that he should pay chatzinezek. I have a think. I think the way to read this before Rashi maybe says it's halacha Moshe Messinai that it's mama. I think that there's another pshat to learn that it's halacha Moshe Messinai kama, but halacha Moshe Messinai that it pays chatzin nezek, because really the Gemara says I think later on that kol kigufo, and therefore minadin. If it wouldn't have been a special halacha Moshe Messinai, he would have said that throws also has to pay nezek shalom. The halacha Moshe Messinai is that it pays the chatzin nezek. And the Mamono over there is Mama. Not that the Halacha Moshe Messinai says that it's Mama. The Halacha Moshe Messinai says that it's Chatzin Nezek. And we happen to know that it's Mama because we would have held Kol Kigufa and it would have had to pay Nezek Shalem. So the fact that it's paying Chatzin Nezek is just downgrading it and saying that it's a Kula. But not that the Halacha Moshe Messinai said that it's Mama. I think that's the way to read. Maybe Rashi's mashma a little different. Okay. The Gemara continues. So we finished the Sugya, famous Sugya. And the Pinchas pointed out that the whole Sugya, from the beginning of the sugya till the end of till the Mishnah, the whole daf is the whole mitzvahs, the whole sugya word for word. Right?
This thing of Himashuri,
Oh, that's what the Mishnah is over there. The Mishnah is the Mishnah. That's the Mishnah Ksubas, and over there brings in the whole sugya. Right?
He's saying nothing. We got extra.
Okay.
What he's saying was about Ksubos
that the whole sugya, our whole sugya,
is in
Ksubas word for word.
44. What did you say?
Word for word.
Word for word.
Wow.
And what daf is it? Whatever it says over there.
It says on the side over here.
It says 41. Okay, we got a new. This whole thing is the side the bonus because it's not our sugya. Our sugya is nizik mazik with the shlumen, and the Gemara said that if you hold palganiska mamona, then it would be simple pshat. That the reason why the nizik partakes in payment is because he loses half of the money. We are palganiska knasa, which we do paskin. So then you have to say nizik mazik with the shlumen. It means that he loses on the pras nevela for the 30 years. The Gemara continues with this sugya about palganiska knasa. Now that you've established that chazi nezik is a knas, haykalba the achal imri the shunra the achla tarnagola. If you have cases of Karen, chazi nezek, which the Gemara brings you new cases of Karen. We didn't know this. A dog that ate sheep. Kalba is a killer. A dog, Imri is a sheep. A dog that doesn't usually eat sheep. It means it doesn't kill them. It might eat the meat after it's dead already, but he wouldn't kill a sheep. The Gemara is going to say soon that it means a big sheep. A dog doesn't eat big sheep. And also a cat doesn't eat big chickens. And if it did, it's considered mishuna. It's considered not abnormal. And that's Karen. So far, it's not Nur Asugid. So far, it's just telling you that it's Karen. We know that it's Karen. Okay, we know that it's Karen. It's not normal. But the Chiddush is what?
And every time for the first 3
In the first 3 times, it's the Tam.
Yeah.
And that's how it was now. But that in Babel, we can't charge for it in Bezdin. Bezdin can't force him to pay. Probably he has to pay, but Bezdin doesn't force him because Bezdin that in Babel doesn't have smuchim. They don't have people that have smicha, so they can't paskin dina knesses. They can't charge penalties. Only things that are mammon. So if you paskin that, if you feel that it was mammon, then you would charge for it because it's chatzin nezek and you have to pay. We give a leniency, you don't pay the whole thing. But now that we pass like be sure that it's a knas, so Bezdin and Babel cannot charge him with the penalties. So if this happens in Babel, that the dog eats the sheep or the cat eats the chicken, the rooster, so we cannot charge it. Why is that?
They come here.
And then there's over there you can get your full.
Well, because they don't have smicha, so and it's kanas, it has to go through Bezdin.
Right, and there's no Bezdin has smicha, Bezdin has smuchim, and Bezdin and Babel they don't have smicha, so therefore they can't pass dina knasos. The Gemara didn't have to bring in the example of dog and regular Karen. Could have said regular Karen that it gored that we know there's a thing called Karen, the gicha, the shicha, the beta, all those things. So it could say that if it happens in Babel, you can't charge. Bezdin can't charge it because it's a knas.
You can't take it to court.
Right. Because it's a knas.
This would be the halacha. Right?
There'll be the halacha that the halacha is that it's a knas, and Bezdin and Babel cannot charge knases. If you know that,
they should pay anyway.
I think so. Maybe you could talk about it. Maybe it's not chayiv knas till Bezdin paskins. I'm not sure about
We're
that.
going to see soon that if he's toifes, then he keeps it.
That means that really is chayiv. Okay, to a couple of more lines. When we say that it's not normal for a dog to eat a sheep, to kill a sheep, or for a cat to kill a rooster, that's only if it's a big one. If it's a small one, then it is normal. So then it's going to be regular. What are you going to call it? You'll call it shame. Shame is just doing it for food. It's not doing it just to attack. It's doing it for food. And food is surely mama. Even in Babel, that Bezdin can't help him out. But if the nizik on his own took the payment from the mazik, Bezdin won't take it back from him because that's even though Bezdin doesn't get involved. Bezdin can't get involved in the penalty, but the guy is really high to pay. And if it sounds like he should pay, and if he didn't, then the Nizik on his own took the payment without asking. So Bezdin's not going to force him to give it back because it's really coming to him. The Iyama Kabuli Zimna does Lina Laudi Yisrael Kabina. Also, if he asks the Bezdin, he's not gonna grab. But I'd like to have an appointment to have a hearing in Bezdin in Eretz Yisrael. It must be more than just a rooster or something like that.
Yeah.
He's not going to force him to go to Eretz Yisrael. Maybe he will, but the guy will pay. He'll pay for the rooster. Right? But he wants to have an appointment by the Bezdin of Shmukim.
We're back on the first case with their big animal.
In the case, right. We can put this in parentheses.
Or any Karen,
No.
any Karen.
Or any Karen, yeah, but each
Yeah,
process
any
is
Karen.
not going on the small case.
Right.
Yeah.
That even though we say that Bezdin doesn't force him, but he says, okay, I want to go to Bezdin in Eretz Yisrael. So then we listen to his, he has a claim. That if the Mazik doesn't want to go along to Eretz Yisrael, doesn't keep the appointment.
Things like that.
What was that? I wanted because he wanted to go back to the point we said Lamak Bin and Bababa. I just meant to answer your question, not to answer your question, to point out that we're going back to what I said before, that these things are knas, and therefore we don't collect in Bavel. But if he asks for an appointment in Eretz Yisrael, so we tell him, yes, we'll make an appointment for you. Everything is true. That if it will be small ones, then it's you don't have to go to Eretz Yisrael. Then if it's small ones, you could pay over here. And if you want to grab by yourself, also you don't have to go to Eretz Yisrael.
What I was saying is, it says aval the zutre orchehi the e tofes lo mas.
Right, that's the period of thing.
Each tofas is going on the first case.
Right.
Small.
I thought you're going on this case. The Makibulizim is also going back on the first case. That in the case where it's right, both going the first. That if he says, I want to go to Israel to Paskin, I want to get my money, so then Bezdin listens to him. And if the Mazik doesn't come along, doesn't agree to go to Israel, so they put him in the Chayrim. Or he pay up over here, or go to Israel.
He
You
has
can't
the
just
right to based in Eretz Yisrael.
right. And if he doesn't want to go, Bezdin is going to force him. But there's another thing you put him to Chayrim for. If he doesn't get rid of this dangerous Mazik, there's a dog that's eating up big sheep. Or there's a cat that's eating up
Roosters.
big roosters.
Mm-hmm.
So we put him in Chayrim until he gets rid of it. Rashi says he has to kill it. The Nassim says, how do you know that a person should not raise a dangerous dog in his house, or he should not put a faulty ladder in his house that someone might climb up and fall down? Don't put blood in your house, something that could cause blood. So this dangerous dog or this dangerous ladder could cause blood. So this dangerous dog or cat also could cause danger. So therefore you have to get rid of it. And if he doesn't, yes.
Is that a pasuk?
Yes. Don't put blood in your house. So you're not supposed to leave something dangerous in your house. Nowadays it has other applications also. Anything that's dangerous could be least wire or something like that. Things that kids can, especially for kids. If kids come in the house, you have to watch out that it shouldn't be a danger for them either. You have to make all the precautions that are necessary. Don't put something. So I had a question. Does this mean that's just because he's going to eat roosters? So you have to get rid of it. The assessment done by Pesach is talking about blood of human blood. Make sure that you don't leave anything dangerous in your house. But if this cat is a threat to eat other roosters, does that mean you have to kill it? Could be that we'll learn I don't leave any kind of a mazik, but I got the impression that it means that it's dangerous for people. So I thought that maybe if he's doing these crazy things, maybe he's going to also attack a person also. The dog is going to attack a person. The cat is going to attack a baby.
The drash is to take it further than what the pasuk was talking about.
Doesn't mean that. No, the pasuk.
The pasuk is talking about killing a person, right?
Is it talking about killing a person or might kill? Not that he's actually kill. Not saying don't kill. It's saying do precaution that nothing should come to spill blood. Don't kill a person. So I don't. You want to say?
I'm saying
maybe it's a drash to say also not to damage.
Like killing, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
And then I thought it would be a drush to take it further.
Even that it shouldn't be a damage.
Take it further, don't have any kind of damage.
It could be. I didn't think of that. I thought that the Gemara means that these things might be fatal.
Might be fatal.
I don't know if Rashi says anything.
Well, if a cat would eat a big rooster, it might bite an infant also.
That's what I thought. But okay.
It's certainly true of dogs. There's so many cases of infants that got killed by dogs. By the pet dog.
Their own pet dog.
Their own pet dog.
Wow.
because the instinct it was small enough, or it was just the right size, that the instinct was to attack.
Okay, new Mishnah. Chamisha Tamin or Chamisha Muadim. We'll learn simple pshat in the Mishnah later on. The more might say pshat that's not so simple, but there are 5 kind of mazikim that are a tam, which means that it has the kula that it pays chatzin nezek the first 3 times. There are 5 such kind of damagers. And Chamisha Muadim, there are 5 kind of damagers that are muad even on the first time.
We already had some, right? We know that man, we know that regel, we know that aish, I think. Aren't those all muad?
Yeah, you're right.
Or
Right.
so we
So,
already have
right,
4 out of
right,
5.
Right. So I'm actually going to say it's not going to say the ones that are not animals. Just because they talk about animals. You're right. You have more, but it's not going to say them. It's just going to say what did Rashi say over here? I think Rashi said something over here.
Well, about a time for my honor.
Where's
Just say
that?
honor.
I go first. Which
Yeah,
one?
right there.
Before Gordon. Harei Chamisha. Right. We'll see in a second the 5. And as I'm talking about living beings, which include animals and people, but it doesn't say Bornesh. So it's not going to be born. It's not going to say born because we're talking about living beings over here.
Living
Beings, which is animal and humans. So in the living being world, there are 5 tamin and 5 muadim.
Okay.
And now I was going to explain the 5 tamin. So that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 kind of damagers that they're considered keren, to gore, to push, to bite, to lie with the intention of damaging, and to kick.
What does it mean low?
It's not a mood, means it's not. What does the word mood mean? So we know mood means that it's already have been worn. So we take that translation. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but say that it's not worn, and therefore it's gonna have the leniency of keren tam. Goring, that's not considered a mood the first time. It's a tam the first 3 times.
Oh, the animal.
It's not an animal. That's right. That's called a tam.
Animal
is not a way of saying tam.
Where it gores or where it does all these things and it's not.
Right. And that says 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5. We finished the list of 5 times. What?
That's the 5 times.
5 times. Now goes the 5 muadim. I'm saying a pshat, the Gemara might say differently. This is how you start off the Mishnah. Later on, the Gemara might say differently. So it says here, Shane. Shane with a slechel is a roila. Shane is a muad. It's warned. And if that is the first time it does it, already it's a first offense. It has to pay nezek shalim. And what is that? When a shane eats food which is proper for it, which is fitting for it, fitting food. If it's going to be a non-fitting food, then it's not going to be shane. Shane means eating normal food.
Yeah.
Regel means that it walks and tramples on things. It breaks things as it's going. It's just going on its merry way, and it steps on things and it breaks them, not with the intention of damaging. Also, shor hamuad. This is keren, but it's already the 4th offense, so it's already been worn. So that's also pays nezek shalim.
Ready to damage, right?
Right, and why it's warned? Why is it warned? Because it happened already 3 times. So now it's already warned. So that's also going to be nezek shalim. And the next one is shor mazik b'shus nizik. So we're not talking about shane and regel. We said that already. We're talking about keren, but keren, the damage is in the b'shus nizik, which we had some mention of this. That the Tafra knows that if keren damage is in the private domain of the nizik, there has to be nezek shalim even the first time. If it's in the Rishus HaRabim, that's when you get the discount of half price, half payments, because it was Rishus HaRabim. But if it will be in the Rishus HaNizik, then he has to pay nezek shalim. That's the 4th one. Shane, regel, muad, and keren Rishus HaNizik. And the last one, Adam. Man's a muad right away. If he damages, he has to pay full nezek. So that's 5. Those are the 5 muadim. So if we do that, we finished. We finished the 5 times 5 muadim.
Is there a sad question about the man? If he's sleeping, is that considered?
So we had the more before in the beginning of the Masechta that said that the other more older ben the air ben yashin, even if he's sleeping, is also.
And is sleeping the same as ones? Or is ones?
No, then he'd be pater.
Ones is pater. Man is pater.
Oh, man is chayv and onus also. You're also right about that. Man is chayv and onus. Even if it will be an onus, he's also chayv.
Yes, okay.
Man is chayv also. It does say if somebody put the kalim, when he went to sleep, he looked around, nothing's around him, nothing's in danger. And then while he was sleeping, then somebody put some glass next to him and he pushed it off in his sleep. So then he is put there because it's not his responsibility at all. Somebody else put it over there. But if he
put it there,
but if he knew it was there before he went to sleep, and then he's sleeping, wakes up, it's a broken glass, and it was him that did it in his sleep, then he's responsible.
somebody pushed him into the days.
Someone pushed him, then it's going to be the one who pushed him, maybe.
That's not considered owners. That's the koach. Okay.
But I don't know enough.
Okay.
Next Mishnah. The next Mishnah, we might change things later on. Hazaim. What if you have
Wolf.
a wolf pet, and you say it's only the first offense? Or you have a lion, or you have a bear, or you have a leopard, and he goes down the street, and it's only the first offense. So he says, chatzi, chatzi. So you say, no, these animals are muadim. And a bartless. Bartless, they say a cheetah. And a nachash, a snake, a pet snake. And it was, so a wolf, a lion, a bear, a leopard, a cheetah, and a snake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of these are already muadim. These are already warned. Even the first time, you can't say I didn't know. I'm very surprised at my little leopard. So all of them are considered muadim. They have pictures of that also.
They have a picture of a snake. It's taking 5 men to hold it, and it's still the head and the tail are on each side beside the 5 men holding the snake.
And this is a pet.
Yeah, this is a pet.
So we say no. You can't say that it was
Can't
my.
say it's no.
It was not saying any tarbo saying muadim. So it seems that Melissa says that if they are tame, if they're tame, so then they're not they're not expected to damage. It could be that I don't know if you're allowed to take your pet lion that's tamed. You walk and take for a stroll in the street.
There's a pet lion. They have a video of a lion roaming the street.
Roaming with the owner.
Roaming the street.
Roaming,
No, they have a video in the street at night.
And people are there and everything's fine.
No, it's nighttime. Nobody's there, thank God.
But if Elazar will say that if he's a tame one, so then okay, he's a tame. He's not expected to not expected. Rabbi Elazar Omer. Tarbus means that they were raised, culture. They were so then then they're not expected to be mazik and to pay chatzi nezik. That's what Rabbi Elazar says.
Rabbi Elazar hasn't been to the circus enough times.
Why?
Well, I thought they're tame, but also they drug them. But there's also times when they turn on the trainer, the lions. Even
if they're drained. That's Tana Kamma. You went to the Tana Kamma zoo. But that's the question. Why does Rabbi Elazar hold that they're not expected to, or at least they'll say that it's not expected. The question is that it's not expected enough. Rabbi Elazar will say that it gets chatzi nezik. This means even according to Rabbi Elazar, he also agrees that you can't tame a snake, and even if you do, that's not enough established that it should be chatzi nezik. Maybe I'm saying wrong shot, and that's reading the Mishnah. Maybe we'll see as we go into tomorrow. There was a problem about some diukim over here. Means we did mention Sham Hazak Rishus and Nizik that we say that's a tarfin that says that if it's damaged in the Rishus and Nizik, it pays Nizik Shalom, even though it's Karen. Karen Rishus and Nizik, that's what the Mishnah says. But the more some diukim that maybe the other parts of the Mishnah say differently. So the more starts. This part of the Mishnah when it said Shane, this case, where did it happen? Where did Shane happen? It says there's muad for eating normal, that it must be in the Chatzar Nizik because the Rishus Rabbim is Pater. Shane is Pater Rishus. So it must be that the scenario is talking about in Rishus HaNizik. And then it goes on and says Shamazik Rishus HaNizik. The diak would be that Karen would be also only Chatzi Nezik. Let's see what it says. What's the one's diak? Since it says Shane, what is like must be talking about the Chatzar Nizik because Shane will be part of Rishus Rabbim. V'katani ve'im where there's l'shalim kulei abal Chatzi Nezik v'shalemes mani rabbani behema. Where's behema? That's over at the beginning of the Mishnah. That said Chamisha Tamin. The Chamisha Tamin abehim ve'im where this. It says that it's a tam for these 5 things: to gore, to push, to bite, etc. So it's considered a tam. But it says that it does pay. It pays Chatzi Nezik. And talking about, the more things it's talking about the same domain as when you say Shane. The fact that I put in the same Mishnah, the more things that's contrasting them, they're the same category. I feel we want us talking about Rishus Rabbim, the Rishus HaNizik, the more didn't think so. Since by Shane, it must be talking about the Rishus HaNizik and not Rishus Rabbim, because the Rishus Rabbim will be Potter. So it's talking about Rishus HaNizik. And it says that a behema.
The Tamin are Rishus HaNizik, so also the more than Rishus HaNizik.
I would have thought not. I would have thought that each halacha, we're not coming to tell you details of the halacha. There's a specific details, but the Gemara does see it, like you said, that we're talking about the same domain, and it says Karen is not a muad and Shane is a muad. Shane's a muad only in Rishus HaNizik, and it says Karen is not a muad, but it does pay Chatzi Nezik. It doesn't pay full, but it pays half. And that means that it's like it's Rabbanan. Reb Tarfon would say that it's a mur because it's chasar nizik, which it says in the end of the Mishnah.
So the Behema has to be in Shusarabi, right?
Because it else it wouldn't be chayiv and shame. Like you
The
said.
first one, the Behema wouldn't be lo mueded.
Why? If what? If it would be?
If it were in the Rishus and Nisak, it wouldn't be lo mueded.
That's what you would think if it's because we see later on Sharmazik Rishus and Nizik.
Yeah, so that means that it must have been Rishus
But
Rabbi.
it can't be because by Shane it's talking about Rishus Nizik.
Nizik.
You can't say it's Rishus Rabbi by the Shane. So that's what
So
the
we're
one is
saying
comparing
this is
these.
Syria?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because this we're going to prove from
We're saying
Shane.
that they all have to be in the same.
Right. So we prove
Same
from
case.
Shane that it's talking about Rishus Nizik. This
So-
case also is Rishus Nizik.
Oh,
And it says that's only half. And here it says that Shalom Nizik Rishus Nizik is Nizik Shalom.
okay.
That's the most contradiction.
How did they say that it's a kasha?
Let's see. I didn't read it enough yet.
Okay.
Since it says Shane where this to eat, there must be talking about Chazar Nizik.
Mhm.
And then it says Behema is not a muad to pay Nezik Shalim. The Sham Nezik Kule. Abel Chasi Nezik Mishalemis, but it does pay half Nezik. What is that? Mani Rabbanan. That must be going to Rabbanan. The Rishas Rabbanan, who are getting up Tarfin. The Amri Mishuna Karen B'Chazar Nizik. Chasi Nezik Udim Mishalim. They hold that Karen, even in Rishas Nizik, only pays Chatzi. But the problem is later on, the Mishnah says like Rab Tarfin. Amos Sefer. Let me say the Sefer. Shah Amud V'Shah Mazik. We don't need it. We don't need this. And we don't need this. We just need this part. The Shamas, which just it says that it's Chayiv Nezik Shalom. So Asan Rabbi Tarfon. Tama Mishon can't because Nezik Shalom with the Mishon. That part of the Mishnah says Rabbi Tarfon. So it's a contradiction. The Reish of the Sefer. The Dik of the Reish sounds like the Rabbanan that Karen Rishus and Nezik only plays Chatzi. And Mishnah then says Beferish like Rabbi Tarfon that Karen Rishus and Nezik plays whole Nezik Shalom. That's the kasha. There are going to be a couple of terusim. Teres number one. Oh, the kasha is still Reish Rabbanan Sefer Rabbi Tarfon. That's the kasha. Can you say the same Mishnah? It changes opinions. So the answer number one is
Yes.
Yes. Ta'amar le Shmuel Rav Yehuda. Shmuel told Rav Yehuda probably about this Mishnah. Shinina. We said Shinina means either the sharp one or the one with big teeth. That was his nickname for Rav Yehuda. Shavok Maslisen B'Tar Basroi. Leave the Mishnah and come after me, which I think means leave the Mishnah the way it is, maybe, and come with me. Come after my pshat. That I don't mind to say that the Mishnah first talks about the Rabbanan, then about Reb Tarfon. I'm not sure if that's right. Pshat in Shavok Maslisen. The words literally mean leave the Mishnah. Either was his Talmud, yeah. Leave the Mishnah and follow me. Come after me. The Reish is Rabbanan and say for Rabbi Tarfon. Period. That was the first error. Don't get nervous, even though it's a little strange to have that it changes opinions in the middle of the Mishnah. The Reish is Rabbi Rabbanan.
Because everybody knows that in the Shusarabi.
Shane is part.
No, I was going to say the other way. The first one, the Karen pays on that thing.
Yes.
Everyone knows that. So then that's why that first case must be in the Shus and Nizak.
Why?
Because it said that it's not Moed. And that's the Rabbana. That's the Kiddush they want to teach.
How do you know that's talking about Rishus and Nizik? The Gemara sees it's Rabbanan because it is talking about Rishus and Nizik. How do you know this is talking about Rishus and Nizik?
And I'm saying Shmuel would say because everybody knows in the Shusarabi that there's Hetziness.
Okay, so maybe that's what it means. Make everybody happy. It's talking about Rishus and Rabbim, and it's based Hetziness, and everything's very nice. That's not that doesn't. The problem was that you're not saying the problem. You could say it's only because of Shane. Shane caused the problem because Shane is talking about Rishus and Nizik because Rishus Rabbim is Potter. This also has to be talking about Rishus and Nizik, and that means it must be Rabbanan. What?
And Shmuel says not necessarily.
No, he says.
He
he says everything says all your cheshbonos are good. You're all right, and you're bothered that here's Rabbanan and it's Rab Tarfon. Yeah, leave it that way. This is Rabbanan, this is Rab Tarfon. You were bothered. The more is bothered that Shane shows us talking about in Rishus Nizik, and therefore comes out that this Tana is saying that Rishus Nizik carries chayiv half, and this Tana says over here that Ken Rishus Nizik pays whole.
So he's okay.
So
he's saying don't be bothered. One's Rabbanan and one's.
If everything said is true.
Don't be bothered. That's the Rishus Rabbi.
No, he doesn't say no. So far not.
No, not so far. I mean, somebody who argues with Shmuel.
We'll see. That we have to go further. We didn't see anybody arguing yet. Shmuel's the first opinion. There's going to be two more opinions to answer the kasha. So far, the kasha says this is Rishus and Nizik. This is Rishus and Nizik. This is Rabbanan, Rab Tarfon. Could that be? The Shmuel says yes.
Okay.
Next one. This is test number 2. Let's just get the name, highlights over here. This was, Shmuel was the first teretz. Next teretz is Rabbi Loza, which made the Rav. Next teretz. Amar, Kula, Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Tarfon's the whole Mishnah. That's a hard one. Rabbi Tarfon's the whole Mishnah. That was Mamish Beferish. It said over here, these lines over here. Chatzir, Mazik, Rishus, and Nizik. It says that it's Nizik Shalom. How can you get out of this?
No, so that's good. That's a tough.
Oh, you're right. Cool Rabbi Tarfon. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Cool Rabbi Tarfon. This was Rabbi Tarfon. The kasha was that this is Rabbana because we said Shane, Rishus, somewhat Rishus and Nizik because Rishus Rabbana is Potter. If this is Rishus and Nizik, this is also Rishus and Nizik, and it says only Chatzi Nizik. That was the Gemara's kasha.
Yeah.
And now I was going to tackle that now. I forgot what I was going to say. Let's see.
That's a kasha on Rabbi Tarfon, isn't it?
No, that's not what. Yes, that's what. Yes,
far,
if you say
it's all
you want to say,
Rabbi
how can you say
it
such a
seems
thing?
to us like it's going to be a kasha.
Right, because it's Rishus and Nizik.
Yeah.
So he's going to make a kind of Rishus. That's not going to be Rishus and Nizik as far as
Certain things.
Karen. Right. What do we want? His trick is going to be, where do you see? Well, what do you say? That's talking about a certain place where Shane is Chaim. So it has to be Rishus and Nizik for Shane. And the Risha says that it's going to be Karen, Rishus Rabbin for Karen. How can you make a certain domain that it should be a Rishus and Nizik for Shane, and it should be Rishus Rabbin for Karen? So he says I can do that. I can figure that out. We had this concept yesterday that only the Nizik has Rishus to put Paris over there, and both of them have Rishus to bring in their Shvarim. So now the oxen had a fight. One ox gored the other ox. So then it's Rishus Rabbin because both of you are allowed to bring in your ox. So that's why Tafel says that's only Chatzin Nizik because it's not Rishus and Nizik. But when it comes to the Shane, so then who had Rishus to put the Paris over there? Only the Nizik. So it's a Sadacha. And even though you're allowed to bring Yeshor, but you're not allowed to bring Paris. So you look at my Paris, your Shor, and my Paris, that's called Rechotzer and Nizik. That's called the Steyacha. The Lagabi Shane have Rechotzer and Nizik. Well, the Lagabi can have Rishus Rabbin. So you figured out Chorah ingenious. I don't understand the Svara, but the thing he did was, why did you show me? That it's talking about a place which is Rishus Yachat for Shane. He's saying that it's Rishus and so it's a Rishus Yachat for Karen. No, as far as Karen, it could be that it's Rishus Rabbin because he has permission to bring in his ox, but he doesn't have permission to bring in his food. Therefore, it's called a Sadacha for Shane. Yesterday we had the problem that we didn't understand the lumdus. What's the difference if the mazik has wishes to bring in his parents or not? He has wishes to bring in his ox. You have wishes to bring in your your parents. So it's a wishes around. The Gemara says no. If you don't have wishes to bring in your parents, it's called the nizik Sadacha, even though you can bring in your ox. So I didn't understand the svara, but if the Gemara did hold of this yesterday, tells of it again today. So that was ingenious to figure out a case that's going to be a Rishus HaYakov for Shane and a Rishus HaRabbin for Karen. So Tarfon is talking, and here he says, yeah, this is a Rishus HaRabbin because both of the oxen are allowed to come in.
Even though he's not allowed to eat the fruit, though?
Right. Yeah. He's not allowed to even bring in his fruit. He can't bring in his fruit, then he has to watch his animal.
The Nizak can bring in his
fruit. And the mazik has to watch that his ox shouldn't eat the other guy's fruit. You can bring it in, but at your own risk. You have to make sure that
it's called Hetzi Nezek.
If it does, he has to pay Shane Rishus HaNizik. No, did it gore the cow? Did it gore the other ox? Or did it eat the other guy's parents? If it gored the other guy's ox, so both of them have Rishus to bring in their oxen. So that's called the Rishus HaRabbim as far as goring goes.
Goring.
But as far as eating, so only the Nizik has Rishus to bring in his parents. So then it's going to be Rishus. That's why it's high, because it's a Rishus HaYachad Shane. Yeah. Okay, we got up to the fourth line. Amar Rav Kana. So far, we have two terutzim in to answer the kasha. One was Shmuel, that the ratios of Tarfon say for Rabban. The second terutzim was Rabbi Elazar Rav. Everything's up Tarfon, and the ratios talking about a case where it's a Rishus HaRabbim for Karen. Amar Rav Kana. I said over this past Gemara we just learned. I told it to Rav Zvit from Nardo. Amali, he must have spoken to Tarfon. You can say such a shot that the whole Rishus of Tarfon, in the first case is a fancy case that it's a Karen Rishus HaRabbim because both of them have Rishus. You can't, it's not going to help you. That alone, we're going to focus on that line alone. The Royla in Shein Royla low, you have a Tarfon, Amma, Mishuna Kent, Bukhatsa Nizik, Nezek Shalom Mishalim. Back to the Mishnah. Before we were contrasting this word, Abay Man and this, and the shame. Shame we showed this, was just Yachid, and this was a problem. Also, Rishus Yachid said, "Well, figured out how it's a way to say it." So Rishus Rabbim, he also has Rishus to bring in his ox. Now we got to. Now we're gonna. What are we gonna do? We're gonna prove that we're talking about. I'll show you a case of Rishus Yachid for the Nizik, and also there's going to be a kasha up top. Hashain, where the Slachal Sabayla. Shain is a more to eat proper food. How about if he ate improper food? Means before we got the Karen, let's say we give Bava Kamma. Before the Karen case was an ox. So ox and the food is two different things. So you can say that he was about allowed to bring his ox, he wasn't allowed to bring his food. So that's how we figured out to get out of this kasha. Abem and where this was talking about where he was allowed to bring in his ox. Both times allowed to bring in their oxen. But over here, the same apples, the same food, there's a shane and there's a karen done to their food. There could be a karen done to food. Not only does that ox gore animals, he also does karen to food. How does he do that? If he eats food that's not royal, he has food that's not proper to eat, like a paper cup and whatever. Okay, something more than a paper cup, something expensive, and he eats it and not supposed to eat that. That's not food. It's considered karen because it's not normal. It's mishuna. So you can't now. Does he have permission to bring in food or not? Before the Gemara did very neat that this case a behemoth, so those are animals. He could bring in his animals. He doesn't have permission to bring in his food. The Gemara was able to neatly divide that it's rishus yachid for food and it's not a rishus yachid for animals. But here we're talking about the same food, the same item that Shane was eating, and it says that if it will be a proper food, then it's chayiv for Shane. And if it's an improper food, it's not food that's not appropriate food, then it's going to be Karen that's going to pay chatzi nezek. And you up top and hold that you pay nezek shalem. That's the most question. Shane is a more to eat normal food, and the diak is stop right there already. Roila in Shane Roila low. We can be with that if it's not regular food, then it's going to be chayiv. The up top and I'm a mishun camp because it is nezek shalom shalom. He holds that it's pay nezek shalom. What's the kasha? It says Shane is Shane.
And it would be Karen, and it seems like in the first part he would say Hetzinezik.
Right. Why is it? How is it mashma chatzinezik? Is it mashma chatzinezik? It says
It's not Shane.
it's not Shane. Okay, so it's Karen. They're all there.
It's Karen, and
Maybe some pain is shalom. It's also going to be a muad. It'll be a muad. Shane muad. So it's also going to be a muad if it's going to be Karen muad. The Karen tam b'shus and nizik. So the Gemara wants that it's mashma that it would have been chatzi nezik, and the kashi is the next line. Reb Tarfon says that it's nezik shalom. So he knocked off the second teretz. The first thing.
So they can't both be written.
Reb Tarfon. So he's going to say new teretz. He can say the first teretz. He can say Shmuel that one is Reb Tarfon, one is Rabbanan. But he wants. He doesn't like that. So he's going to say a third teretz. The whole Mishnah is Rabbanan. This is a really hard one. That he's going to say that the first Mishnah that says v'shus and nizik v'amazik. These words here, this is the main focus now. These words that it says beferish, this is a muad, this is a tarfin, and the Gemara is going to do some real fancy footwork and say it doesn't say that.
That's a.
You can say Rabbanan are talking. The Rabbanan who say that showing mazik b'shus and nizik is only going to be chatzi nezek, and this Mishnah says there's nezek shalom, and we're going to do this magic over here and make it fit with Rabbanan.
Okay.
How does the Gemara do that? This we can't push off the Sunday, the Shabbos. Okay, you have to put in some words to the Mishnah. I'll put it to the Mishnah also soon. Pushing, the boring, the biting, and fourth offense, then they're going to be then the five of them are going to become muadim. Means before we had a list of 5 and 5 tamin, then we got to muadim. What are the muadim? Shane, Regel, Kambishus, Hanizik, Adam. What else do we have? I'm missing one of them. Shamur. And now we changed. This doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. You read the Mishnah wrong. It says there are 5 tamin. Hein muadim. They themselves become the 5 muadim if they did it already 4 times. Shane, Regel, muadim etchilasan. You should know that Shen Regel Amur the first time. So we go back to the Mishnah and try to read it.
What was the last phrase?
I forgot.
That
Here it says Right? It's just an easy. Here it says, we finished the Mishnah. Chamisha Tam Chamishim Wadim, we finished. That's already finished. We did Chamisha Tam Chamishim Wadim, and it says, what are they? You have the Ligach, Ligo, Lisha, Libod, Slivo, finished. Mamish finished over there. That's the end of the Mishnah. New Mishnah. Shane is a word. Shane is a and Regel is a word. You know where?
I'm sure I'm more than one. If it was already more. Also?
That's also a sentence on
Maybe
its
not,
own.
maybe not.
Vishar Mazik Vishasenezik. You know what that means? It doesn't mean Karen. It means the Shem Regel that we spoke about. We spoke about Shem Regel, and now I want to tell you where you're Chai. You know where you're Chai? You're Chai in Vishasenezik.
Sure, the mazik. Bershushan is by eating something that's low in
No, Roy, regular food, the
Yeah.
animal-ate food, the regular stuff on.
Sure, hamazik Bershushan.
Which Mazik? No, right. It's going back on Shem Regel. And it's saying that the Shem Regel is Chai Vishasenezik.
But if you said Shane, if you're counting, then why you were just.
No, we're not
repeating
counting.
this?
That was the Gemara's trick. The Gemara preempted your kasha. That we're not counting. We finished counting already. We said
Now we're just.
we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the timing. And the Moedim was also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same 5 that we said. We finished counting. No count. And now we're telling you
Now we
Allah
go
is
on.
Shane is Chayiv, regular is Chayiv. Where's it Chayiv? It's Chayiv Rishus and Nizik. You didn't expect that. How does the Gemara go here?
Shane.
Oh, V'zeu Shamud. Yeah, Shamud is not going to be Shamud. But V'zeu Shamud. How does it go? A 5 time, and they themselves, if they did it 4 times, they warned that they're going to be more than. Shen Regel is more from the beginning. That's a short. V'zeu Sharamud. What does that mean? That's an example of a Sharamud that it Shen Regel. Shen Regel is more from the beginning. The Sham Mazik, which is I skipped. I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong one. I'm sorry. Him who do Chamish Nabodim. Shen Regel Modim Mitchilasan. Hein Hadu Asan B'Chatzaran is it? How do you read that into the Mishnah? V'Sham Muad.
How are they? And where are they muad?
Where is it a
In the
muad? In the
Chatzar,
Chatzaran
it
is it?
is.
Because if it would be Rosh Hashanah, it would be Potter.
Yeah.
How do you read that into the Mishnah? Shen Regel, Shen Roila, Regel Roila,
And where is it?
Sham Muad. The Sham Mazik Rishus and Nizik. Put that into the word somehow. Sham Muad means, you know where it's a muad? Sham Mazik Rishus and Nizik. So it's a lot of surgery, major surgery to get into the Mishnah. But the more is like even like that. Masal Rabino, Katani Lakamon, Sham Mazik Rishus and Nizik, Ketzad. There's a whole Mishnah later on. The Mishnah really goes on. The point of the Pashup Shot where we read is really good. We should stop, or we can go further. I saw a little looking at the clock.
I was supposed to deliver this. She said, I'll be there till 12, but not till after 12. And so if I don't do it today, it's too bad. It'll be another day.
Okay,
So
whatever you
say
say.
keep going.
A couple of more minutes, whatever you
Yeah,
say.
sure.
So the Mishnah is very hard to read, but the Gemara still is a problem. Even though hard to read, it still doesn't go because later on the Mishnah is they take this Mishnah is really like table of contents, and then it's going to be a Mishnah later on. Ketzad Shane, Ketzad Regel, Ketzad Adam, and it says over there Ketzad Chasar Mazik Rishus and Nizik. So the way we did it is right. That this is supposed to be over there in yellow. I took off the it's still in yellow. It says Ketzad Sham Mizik, and this is the Ketzad, and it makes a thing out of it. The way you're
So it's
reading
not
it.
just explaining.
It's
Shane,
not right. That's the most gosh. It says over later on. Shit, Ketzad.
That's the musky, you're saying?
Yeah, Maske Flavor Bino Katana come on. Sham Mazik Rishus and Ketzad. That's a Mishnah later on. So it's going back in our Mishnah. Yeah, Mishnah if the Mishnah spoke about it, Sham Mazik Rishus and so you can say Ketzad. You should make Tani Ketzad to explain what's Ketzad. How does that work? But Eli Yam no Ariba, we never spoke about Sham Mazik Rishus and my Ketzad. So that shot as well. But we'll do another shot. Ella Meravina. Also some editing. Same as before. Same as the first so far. That they're 5. We're not counting anymore. We said 5 tam. They themselves are going to become muadim to the different. And now further, also still going with the same terrace. Zeu shor muad. Zeu shor muad.
Shane regular.
Shem regel muadim with chilasan. V'zeu shor muad. Means when it says shor muad, it's not counting anymore. It says that it's shor regel, sheni regel lechal roila lishbo b'derech yilufa. That's also chayiv mitchilasan, and that is a shor muad. Not we just said a second ago. We said that it's a muad. Okay, but that's a muad.
We're saying that Shane and regular is a short removal.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning, and then shamazik v'shus and nizik. What about it? It doesn't say. But stick it in. We're not saying that this is the five muadim. If you say five muadim, this is going to be number 4. So it says this, the muad, that's subtarfin. You want to get out of saying it's subtarfin. So it's not subtarfin. What does it say about it? It doesn't say, it says there's a concept called Shamas B'Shus and Izik. Maybe that's what the one means, stick it in, Chasur Mechsura. Stick it in, that it says it's machlokes. And we'll talk about it later. But I'm not coming to Paskin. The whole kasha was that it's subtarfin talking. The Mishnah doesn't say, the diak was in the Reisha. What was the diak? Kul Rabbanan. You want to say it's Rabbanan because the diak would change that it's mashma b'shus and nizik. The base of the Mishnah is mashma that if it would be b'shus ha nizik, it would be only chatzi nizik. And here it says shamazik b'shus and nizik is a machlokes. We're telling you it's a machlokes about this point. Even though we mentioned already Rabbanan, now we're saying that it's a machlokes. Yesh modem achem kiyotze, and then it continues to say that there are more modem mitchilasan, azay, ba'ri, ba'do, ba'badlas, anomer, ba'nachash. There's small cases that are considered more from the beginning, even though it's doing something which is Karen. The Gemara be surprised that that's trying the Mishnah, which is really a major surgery. Let's explain now. And now we answered the kasha. The whole kasha was later on. It says Ketzah. So we answered that here we just said that it's a machlokes. Later on we'll elaborate on it. And it brings word for word the Bryce. That's what it says. That there are 5 tam and they themselves will come a wadin. The shen regal wadin with chilasan. That is a change regal that if in the beginning they are muad. The shamas of Pishas Nissim was with Afra Baran. The Yesh Madam Akem Kiyotzabe, Azay, Vavi, Vadov, and Vabadas, Vanachash. Okay, so we brought a right to that.
I said that shows what we just explained.
Right, how we explain the Mishnah, which is not the Pashup Shah. And they want to say the same thing over again, but in a different format. Others presented this as a kasha. Tanan, Chamisha Tam, Chamisha Modim, it says there are 5 tam. The Suleka, are there no more muad? 5 muadim, are there no more muadim? Because first the more read it says 5 tam and 5 muad.
When are there no more?
Are there no more than 5? There are more, and the Mishnah does put that into the list. Means the Gemara is reading the Mishnah. The Mishnah is reading the Mishnah the way we originally read it. It says there are 5 times. What are the 5 muadim? I'm not sure. How does the Gemara read at this point? That there are 5 muadim. The Gemara thought the way we thought originally.
Regal.
And there are more. We also say even for Keret. And the answer is Mashali Amravina Chsamach Bakhtani Chamisha Tamim the Imwad the Chamisha Muadim. So you finish the list, and that's not a kasha. Why it doesn't say Zev and Namer? Why is not a kasha?
I think that these 5 could become one. It's not mentioning all the things which are necessary.
It's not coming to say.
Shane and Regal.
It's not coming to say a list. It's just coming to say that the 5 tamim could become muadim. Now I want to tell you that more muadim. I can say as much as I want. Shen Regal muadim et chilasan, v'shar muad, and sham mazik v'shaz elizabeth b'chustat rabbanan. Yesh machedim keim yosaban. The yards, Zev, Ari, Dov, Nomer, Bradless, Nafash. Yashikach.
Okay, good.
Okay. What did we find out today?
Yes.
What did we learn today? What did we learn?
That the
Kalganiska Kamasa.
Kalganiska Nasa.
And Bezdin and Chuslovitz can't take care of it.
It's a halacha.
Even though there was a kasha first on him, but we answered the kasha. So there's no kasha on him, but no proof to him either. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. What's happening on Shabbos?
Thank you very much.
Have
Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
a good Shabbos, everybody. Thank you.